On June 12, 2025, what should have been a routine flight from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick became one of India's most serious aviation accidents in recent years. Air India flight AI171, a Boeing 787, crashed just minutes after takeoff, resulting in the loss of 260 lives. Today we are going to examine the preliminary findings from the India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau (AAIB) to understand what went wrong in those crucial moments after the departure. Let's start with the basic facts. On the morning of June 12, 2025, Air India flight AI171 was scheduled to depart from Ahmedabad Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport at 1:10 p.m. local time, bound for London Gatwick. The aircraft was a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, registration VTANB, manufactured in 2013 with over 41,000 flight hours. On board were 242 people, 230 passengers including citizens from India, UK, Portugal and Canada, plus 12 crew members including the captain and the first officer. The flight was under the command of an experienced 56 years old captain with over 15,600 flight hours and 32-year-old first officer with 3,400 hours. Importantly, the first officer was the pilot flying that day and the captain acting as the pilot monitoring. The flight's preparation appeared normal. Both the pilots had proper rest, passed their alcohol tests, and the aircraft had been cleared for service after routine maintenance. The Boeing 787 pushed back from the gate 34 at 2:18 p.m. local time, and after taxiing and lineup, received takeoff clearance. The aircraft began its takeoff roll at 1:37 p.m. The calculated V speeds were V1 at 153 knots, rotation speed at 155 knots, and V2 at 162 knots. Everything proceeded normally through the initial acceleration phase. Here's where the story takes a devastating turn. According to the EAFR data, the aircraft achieved a liftoff at 8 hours 8 minutes and 39 seconds UTC time, becoming airborne as expected. 3 seconds later, at 8 hours 8 minutes and 42 seconds UTC time, the aircraft reached its maximum recorded airspeed of 180 knots. After reaching the speed of 180 knots, both the engine's fuel cutoff switches transitioned from run to cutoff position. First engine 1 and then engine 2 just a second later. This effectively cut off fuel supply to both the engines during the most critical phase of the flight. The cockpit voice recorder captured a bone-chilling exchange between the pilots. One pilot asked the other, "Why did he cut off the engine?" The response was equally troubling. "I did not do so." Neither of the pilot had intentionally shut off the engines. With both the engines suddenly without fuel, the aircraft systems immediately began emergency procedures. The ram air turbine, a small emergency generator, deployed automatically and can actually be seen in the airport CCTV footage. The APU or auxiliary power unit also started automatically to provide backup power to the aircraft. The flight crew attempted to restart the engines. The flight recorder data shows that the fuel cutoff switches were moved back to the run position. Engine 1 at this time and engine 2 at this time. Both engines showed signs of attempting to relight, but it was too late. The aircraft had already begun to lose altitude. At 8 hours 9 minutes and 5 seconds UTC time, about 26 seconds after the engine lost the power, one of the pilots transmitted "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday," the international distress call for the flight emergencies. That is the last thing we heard from the radio of the aircraft. Unable to maintain the altitude, the aircraft impacted the BJ Medical College hostel building at just 0.9 nautical miles from the departure end of runway 23. The preliminary report indicates the aircraft struck the building at approximately 8 degrees nose up altitude with wings level. The wreckage was distributed over an area of approximately 1,000 by 400 feet. The aircraft fragmented on impact, with major components found scattered across the multiple buildings. Tragically, 19 people on the ground were also killed, bringing the total of fatalities to 260, with 68 people on the ground suffering serious injuries. The investigation is being led by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau (AAIB) with assistance from the NTSB, Boeing, GE Aerospace and other international partners. Several key findings have been emerged from the preliminary investigation. First, the aircraft was airworthy, all maintenance was current, and there were no significant technical issues that would have prevented a safe flight. The engines had been recently installed and were operating normally until the fuel cutoff. Second, weather was not a factor. Conditions were clear with good visibility and light winds. Third, the crew was qualified and well rested. Both the pilots had appropriate licenses and had recent experience on the aircraft type. The critical question remains, what caused the fuel cutoff switches to move to the cutoff position when neither pilot recommended this action? The loss of AI171 and its 260 lives demands answers. Dual engine failure during takeoff raises a critical questions about aviation safety systems that we must address. This tragedy will reshape how we understand aircraft reliability. The investigation's findings could save countless future lives. I will continue following the investigation and will provide updates as more information becomes available. If you found this analysis helpful, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Until next time, be safe.